So today we're going to be revisiting some of Bahrain's alternative layouts that they've used in the past. So what if Bahrain ran at one of these layouts today? Okay, so we're going to use the Assetto Corsa for this because that's the only game that's got all the layouts that we can do back to back. So first up, we're just going to start though with the one we're all used to, the one they've been running for many, many years. Oh god, I've already gone deep. Just to get a feel for this version of this track and also for the game so we can compare it to some of the other layouts. Now you guys may already know we're going to try two other layouts and honestly I kind of like both of them, and I do wish circuits like this would just try these different layouts sometimes rather than just run the same track every single year. Like the tracks, they've got different layouts, why not run the alternatives? Sometimes it's because they're not grade 1 certified by the FIA, so the F1 cars can't race on those layouts, and I do get that. And sometimes there will be a best layout, and I also get that, but surely we want to mix it up a little bit. But anyway, so this is this version of the of Bahrain. Oh god, I'm struggling for the front grip at the moment. We're using the 2025 F1 car as well. But yeah, so this is the layout that we all know and love. They've been running this layout for a long, long time. Another bit surprised. It's definitely a bit of a weird version. I think this version is taken from R Factor 1, I think, and then was ported to R Factor 2, then they ported it to Assetto Corsa, so it's been bandied around a little bit, and it definitely feels a little bit outdated, there's no doubt about that. And Assetto Corsa as well, also showing its age a little bit, but we're not concentrating on any of that, we're concentrating on the track. So yeah, I mean, I feel like, to be honest, I've probably already got a feel for the car roughly. I mean, we're not going to be ever going that quickly, but it's more about the layout than anything else anyway. But this is the track that we know and love. Should we try a different one? Alright, here we go then. This is the endurance layout of Bahrain, but weirdly the World Endurance Championship doesn't actually run this layout, so I don't know why it's called that, but whatever, we'll move on from that. This layout was used in F1 in 2010, for those that remember, 15 years ago, my word. It was only used for one single year. It was always planned to go back to the sort of, I guess, original or the layout we know today. So the big difference here is we're going to go left at this corner. Now, I do remember driving this circuit. It's been probably has been about 15 years since I drove this circuit. I can barely remember it. I think there's a high speed left right here. Oh god, there is. Well, not that high speed. And then we turn right here. Oh, that's a very tight corner as well. And then basically end up back on the original layout, I believe. Is this? Oh, there's a whole other corner I've forgotten. There's more corners. There's so many corners. This is so many corners. Okay, now we're back on the original Bahrain circuit. So they actually ran this in F1, and honestly, I remember at the time that I quite liked it, and that's probably more just because it was different than anything else, honestly. It probably is too many corners, and honestly, I feel like I probably now, with hindsight, do prefer the more modern, you know what I mean? The one we normally use when we drove first. Probably is overall better because I think it just doesn't really work that well for racing that section. It's a really tight, twisty section. For F1, you don't want tight, twisty sections particularly. But yeah, the rest is literally absolutely identical. So let's just get back to that new interesting section. Let's try and do it justice this time. Not that I'm going to be able to remember it, but let's give it our best shot. So you come into here, you carry a bit more speed into here. Not much more, but you carry a little more speed into here. You then take the flat out left into the flat out right. And this layout was actually used in the next one we're going to use. That's still too deep. That's still too deep. That's a lot. I swear that's tighter than it is in reality. But we'll see what the other layout is looking like. Really tight right-hand corner. And then this bit is not in my brain. I don't know why I've completely forgot. I thought we already rejoined the old layout. This is really quite a technical section, isn't it? And it's a lot of quite tight corners actually. But it basically, it doesn't really cut out anything. It literally rejoins at pretty much the exact same point, which is wild. Let's give it another go. Right, we're going to master it this time. I promise. I've got it in my brain. I've definitely got it in my brain. Oh, God. I've really gone wrong. Okay, yeah. So carry good speed into there. Flat through the left. Just about. Much tighter chicane than you realise, apparently. Yeah, that's better. That's better. And then kind of a double right. Really tight second one. Really tight second one. Then flooring it to tighter than you expect right-hand corner as well. It's still got off there a little bit. Then I think it's a flat left, maybe a flat left, and then another tight left. Honestly, these corners are much tighter than I remember them being, to be fair. I did remember it's quite a technical layout, but those corners are super tight, man, and this would surely be easy flat as well, this chicane, as we've got such low speed. That's a really technical section. Let's do it again. All right, we're going to do it once more. Now, I definitely have got a grip of it now. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like, let's analyse whether you get any good racing on this. Obviously, we did race there once, but modern F1 cars are very different. But would we actually get any racing through this? So, not through here. Like, I mean, we did see one overtake here on the layout we're going to try in a second. But like this section is just one by one. There's no braking points. There's no Same here. There's no real braking zones. Like it's just you're just gonna have to follow each other, aren't you? It's quite technical. I can see it being appealing from that point of view to get it right. It's gonna be quite difficult. I remember liking it at the time, and I feel like it is technical, but it's not for F1, that is it? It's not for any car. It's too twisty. It's almost like a kart circuit. It's just too twisty for a modern car. I feel like for maybe like a, I don't know, like a MX-5 or something like that. Like one of the lower down series, I think it could be interesting. For any car that's got some decent pace, I feel like it just doesn't allow you to stretch your legs. It does feel a bit like driving an F1 car around a kart circuit. But let's try a track that's been used much more recently in F1 now. So this is the outer layout of Bahrain. Now this is almost like an oval. It's not an oval at all. By F1 standards, maybe it's a bit more like an oval. Now this one is completely different. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to come into this corner. We're going to go left here once again, absolutely flat through the left, and obviously take the same chicane, which I swear is not as tight as this in real life. But we're gonna brake early for it this time. Yeah, nice. But then instead of going right here, we're just going to floor it straight, and now we're at the end of the circuit. So it cuts out most of the middle of the pack, and they did run this in the 2020 season. It was technically called the Sakhir Grand Prix, not the Bahrain Grand Prix, because of course that was a COVID-affected year. So they basically decided to run two races at Bahrain, so they didn't have to move around the world so much. And obviously it meant that they wanted to do different layouts. And I honestly really like this layout. We had a bang of a race. You guys may remember it because it was a race that George Russell participated in. For Mercedes for the first time, because Lewis Hamilton was unwell, and of course Bottas was still at Mercedes at this point as well. And what I remember from that race, and this is genuinely just come on top of my head without any research, George Russell did an unbelievable move on Valtteri Bottas into this section. And it was absolutely insane. And obviously he was potentially going to win that race before his car died on him. He literally went around the outside of Bottas here and then outbraked up the inside here. It was an unbelievable move to pull as a reserve driver for Mercedes, effectively. I think he was the Williams driver more permanently, but he was a reserve driver. One weekend he got a Mercedes and he overtook, okay, the second driver of Mercedes, but still he overtook a main works Mercedes driver. Honestly, I feel like that overtake alone really, not that they needed it, but opened Mercedes' eyes a bit to what George Russell was capable of, because that was an unbelievable move. But anyway, let's concentrate back on the layout then. So as I said, it's a really short lap. It's a sub 1 minute lap, which we never get in F1. So, the first corner is exactly the same, obviously. This isn't any different at all, but I quite like this complex. We do often get different lines and stuff into here. That does produce some good overtaking. The straight's long enough as well with some DRS. Then obviously come down here, another DRS zone, so there is also some overtaking into here as well. And you can brake a little bit later, carry a bit more speed, and you can run alternative lines here a little bit in F1, we saw in real life. And obviously you hold it tight on the brakes, down to third gear, get it turned, and then floor it on the exit, a little bit wide there, but floor it on the exit, and now we're just going to go straight. So it honestly cuts out most of the corners we can't follow, because this is a decent sized straight, thanks to the fact that there was only one small chicane before. And then into here, honestly, you can probably have a DRS zone there as well. So you could end up having a DRS zone there, a DRS zone here, and a DRS zone on the next straight. I don't think they had that many DRS zones in 2020, not that I recall anyway. And I think they should bring this layout back. Not permanently. I think either a special second race at Bahrain, that'd probably be a bit overkill. Just maybe once every 5 years or something, run this layout. Would you guys like to see that? I'd personally love to see that. I really like this layout. I think it's a fantastic layout. I think it produces some good racing. Obviously, you can't follow that one. This should be flat anyway, but you can't follow that well in this section, but it's only a couple of corners that you can't follow through, really. This is it. Other than that amazing George Russell move, this is a bit, you know, one by one, but other than that, it's literally, you can follow for every corner. We've just had the boring Suzuka Japanese Grand Prix, and I love Suzuka, don't get me wrong, but that race was boring because the cars can't really follow on that track. Get them on this track. I honestly don't understand why F1 just consistently uses the same layouts, especially when we're racing at someone like Paul Ricard that's got a billion different layouts. I understand sometimes it's grade one stuff. I do get that. But why the hell would you not run this circuit occasionally? It's a great circuit. I like Bahrain though. I wouldn't want them necessarily to run this circuit all the time, I've got to say. But even alternate. One year do this circuit, one year do the next circuit. I'd love to see that. Okay, we're just going to start pushing a little bit more now. See if we can get a bit more lap time out of it. A little bit deep in there, just on the limit. Through the left. Still a bit scared of this corner after went off so many times, but we'll take a better exit, hopefully. Yeah, I'm a bit cautious. I don't like this set of course over bumps, so I'm a bit cautious on the power, but half a second up. Honestly, I really like this track. We could, I mean, look, 56 was our last lap. We could maybe even get into the 55s. Oh, that's wide. That's wide. No, 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 no. It might still be a 55, actually. Just about. We're not using DRS in this particular thing. Yeah, 55.9 without using DRS. Let's have a look what they did in real life, actually, in 2020. Wow, look at this. They did 53s in real life. And 2020 obviously was a different era car. Different, you know, it's probably a slightly different track. The track definitely feels a bit dated. Obviously, we're running this set of course. It's got its limitations, yada, yada, yada. So lap times aren't that comparable. But 53.3 was pole position. And Bottas put it on pole. Russell was P2. I think I recall Verstappen maybe undercut them or something, and Russell had to overtake Bottas, and it was going to be for the lead. I can't remember. I don't know. Go back, watch the race back if you want to. But how often do we see 53-second laps? It's not a thing. It doesn't happen in F1. Why not? Bring it back. Let's have this track occasionally. I'm keen. And then the race results as well. Let's have a look at the total time. So 1 hour 31, obviously, it was 87 lap race as well. Lots and lots of laps. Perez actually won it in the end. What the hell? What is this race? I need to go watch this back. Perez won in a racing point. Ocon was second. You guys probably already remember this. My memory's terrible. Oh, no, it wasn't a DNF, was it? It was a strategic bottle, I think, by Mercedes, because they're both down there. Interesting. Anyway, that is the alternative layout to the Bahrain Grand Prix. I want that layout, the outer layout. I want them to race that occasionally, just to mix it up. I think you should do it on other circuits as well. Like, I don't want to see them running, you know, like Spa. I wouldn't want to see them cut out half of the Spa track, you know what I mean? But the tracks like Bahrain that haven't got that much history anyway, I think they should mix it up. What do you guys think? I would love to see this outer layout be used again. At the moment, I don't think there's any conversation around it at all. There's no one talking about it, no one suggesting it, but I don't see why not. I think it produces great racing, a sub 1 minute lap. Let's mix it up a bit, guys. Let's not just have the same layouts every single year for like 20 years in a row. It's boring. Let's mix it up. Let's make F1 interesting. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.